All right, so today we're talking about just word problems in matrices, and really we just are, like it says here, for each scenario determine whether to multiply matrices or write a matrix equation and solve using the inverse matrix. So we can multiply when we know already what the undefined variable is going to be, like recall, right? So when you have a system, you're trying to solve for x and y, right? If we have a two equation system. When we had a three equation system, we did x, y, and z, right? And we do that when we're trying to figure out what is the cost of something specific, right? Or how much is this worth, right? Or you'll get the understanding as we go through the problems, okay? So let's look at this first one here. So it says in football, a touchdown is 6 points, a field goal is 3 points, a touchdown extra point is 1 point, and a 2-point conversion is 2 points. The number of each for the top three teams in high school league are given below. Use this information. So they just want to know how much each team scored that season, right? We don't want to know specifically, okay, what is a touchdown worth, right? What is a field goal worth, right? So we're not solving for the individual variables, we're just solving for the whole team. And so when we do that, we can go ahead and we can just multiply, okay? And so it's going to look like this. So don't think of the Hornets, Raiders, and Eagles as part of our columns, right? Our data starts here. So we have 3 rows, 4 columns. So let's rewrite that. Okay, as matrix A. So it's just going to look like this. So we're going to have (21), 14, 12, 9, 24, 12, 18, 3, and then what are we multiplying by? Well, whatever each thing is worth, right? So since touchdowns are labeled first, we're going to go 6 here. Okay, field goals labeled second, so 3, extra point 1, and then 2-point conversion 2. Now can we perform the matrix multiplication? Well, we have a 3 times 4 here, right? And then we have a 4 times 1 here. So then my solution matrix is going to be a 3 by 1, which we're going to write a little bit bigger. So remember, when I'm doing this, guys, what am I doing here? I'm doing, let's see. Let me get my colored pens real quick just to make it easier for us. Shucks, I think I left them at home. Okay, so recall then, we're only concerned with multiplying. We only look at the rows from the first one and the columns from the second matrix. So we're going to have row 1 here times column 1, row 2 times column 1, and then row 3. Okay, so let's do that. So we're going to have 21 times 6, 14 times 3, 12 times 1, and then 9 times 2, right? And again, how did I do that? 21 times 6, 14 times 3, 12 times 1, 9 times 2. Okay? Second one here, so row 2 now. So now we've got 24 times 6 plus 12 times 3 plus 18 times 1 plus 3 times 2. Again, 24 times 6, first element in row 2 times first element in column 1. 12 times 3, 18 times 1, 3 times 2. Okay? Last but not least here, 27 times 6, so row 3 times column 1. 7 times 3, 21 times 1, and then 2 times 2. And so now, what's our solution going to be? Let's just go ahead and let's add those all up. So I'm going to plug that into the calculator here. 21 times 6 plus 14 times 3 plus 12 times 1, which is just 12, plus 9 times 2. Let's see what we get. We got 198. So the Hornets, since they were the first team, scored 198 points this season. Let's see what the Raiders do. So 24 times 6 plus 12 times 3 plus 18 times 1, which is just 18, plus 3 times 2, which is 6. And so the Raiders scored 204 points. Now let's look at the Eagles. So 27 times 6 plus 7 times 3 plus 21 times 1, which is just 21, and then 2 times 2, which is 4, and 208. So of course, the Eagles scored more points than the Hornets and the Raiders, right? Okay, so there you go. So there's number 1. Okay, so let's go on here to number 2. It says a local coffee shop specialized in espresso drinks. The table shows the cups of each drink sold throughout the day. Determine the price of each one. So now we are trying to figure out how much a cappuccino costs, a latte, a macchiato. We're not trying to figure out how much how the total amount sold throughout those hours. Just the one thing, we're actually looking for individual pricing here. So imagine it like this, okay? So it tells me from 8 to 11 hours, this is what was sold. 11 to 2, this is what was sold. 2 to 5, this was sold. So if you were looking at this as a system of equations, it would look something like this, okay? We're just going to go in order here. X, Y, Z. So we're going to write it like this. So we're going to write this 103X plus 86Y plus 79Z equals 1,040, 25 cents. Okay, now we're going to go to the next row there. 48X. Okay. Plus 32Y plus 26Z equals 406.50 cents. And then last but not least, we're going to get 45X plus 25Y 18Z equals $334. So there's our system, right? So now if we want to go ahead, what are we going to do to solve for that? Well, we're going to do what we learned on Friday. Okay, so let's go ahead and first off write that as a matrix equation. So as a matrix equation, it's going to look like this. 103, 86, 79. Next row, 48, 32, 26, and then now 45, 25, 18. Next goes your variables, so we go in order here, X, Y, and Z equals, so remember this is matrix A right on the left here. This we'll just call X because they're multiplying by the variables, right? We're trying to isolate the A there. And then the B matrix is just going to be what everything's equal to. So 1,040, 25 cents. 406.50. And then $334. We call that B. And now recall, how do we go ahead and solve? Well, our formula is A inverse times B. Okay? So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plug all this into my calculator now. So let's go ahead. second math matrix. We're going to go all the way over to edit. A is already a 3 by 3. This happens to be a 3 by 3. Okay, remember, you have to use the calculator to solve for this because you're not going to be able to. Now, if you didn't have a calculator, could you do this equation right here by hand? You sure could, but it's going to be brutal. I mean, I could do it, but it would take me a good probably 10, 15 minutes to do it. Okay, so why not use the calculator if we know how to do this? This TI-36X is amazing. All right, so let's do it. So we need to write out matrix A first. So it's going to be 103, enter, 86, enter, 79, enter, 48, enter, 32, enter, 26, enter. We got to make sure we're getting all these right, because if we miss one thing, we're in bad shape. 45, enter, 25, enter, 18, enter. Okay, so there's A. So now that we have A done, we're going to hit second math again, matrix. We're going to go all the way over to edit, go down to B. B is also going to be a 3 by 1 here, so we have 3 rows, 1 column, so we leave it as it is. Okay, let's fill that in. So 1040.25. So I almost forgot the 2 there. That would have been really bad. Okay. Now it's only going to show it as 1040, guys, but again, it's in there. If you scroll back over it, you see the 0.25 there. Okay, then we're going to go 406.50. So you see the 406.5, and then last but not least, it's just 334. Enter, and there we go. So we've got our A and B matrix done. Now, once you have them defined, for some reason you have to go all the way back out to the home screen, so we just hit second mode. Takes me back out to the home screen. Now I'm going to do second math. Hit enter here. Remember, what am I doing? I'm doing A inverse times B. So I'm going to take the A matrix, hit the exponent button, hit the exponent button down here, and type a -1 up there. Scroll over to get back down to regular size, and I'm going to go second math again. Under the first thing names there, I'm going to go select B, hit enter, and there we go. So now all we have to do after this is just hit enter, and there we go. We find out how much each costs. So cappuccino, which I'll just make as a C, cost $3.50. Okay. A latte, $4 even. And then a macchiato, $4.25. And there you go. And probably really, to be technically correct, you probably got to change the variables to CLM. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Okay? All right, last one. Here's where it gets a little tricky, right? So now I'm not going to give you the system. I'm going to have you create. It. Okay? So we've done this before. You did this a lot in Algebra 1 when you start looking at systems, 2 equations. Now we're just going 3, okay? And so pretty much each sentence is going to describe to me one of my equations, right? So it says this. So it says the sports equipment company took out 3 different loans totaling $350,000 from a bank to buy treadmills. Okay, so, all right, we don't know anything about these companies, right? We don't know how much each took out, right? So since we don't know that, we're going to define that a variable. So my first equation here is going to be x plus y plus z, because I don't know how much each company took out, but I know the total. And I don't need the money sign there, sorry. So we don't know how much each took out individually, so we have to write that as a variable, but we do know the total that combined was $350,000. So that's our first equation. Okay? The interest rates for each are loan 1, 6.5%, loan 2, 7%, loan 3, 9%. So all in order there. Now, remember what percentages though, okay? With percentages, you must change them to decimals. You must change them to decimals when you plug them into an equation. So what you're going to do is, if you don't remember, you just take that percentage. Sorry, I need to second mode clear. Let's just take that 6.5 divided by 100, and there you go. Oh shoot, sorry, that's too high, I apologize. So that's 6.5 divided by 100, that's the decimal you're writing in. Okay, so it's going to look like this. So since we're going in order, learn one here, so we're going to say 0.065x plus 0.07y plus 0.09z. All right? And then it says after 1 year, the interest paid was $24,950. So after all those loans, that's what was paid total by all three of these equipment companies. Or, I mean, sorry, it's just one company, not three different companies. I'm sorry, so just one company. We don't know how much of the loans it took out, but after a year, it equaled that. So I'm sorry, I apologize about that at the beginning there. That's my bad. All right, so we've got two. So now let's continue to read. It said the amount borrowed at the 6.5% rate was $50,000 less than the amounts borrowed at the other two rates combined. So this is where this gets a little tricky. Okay, this is where it gets a little tricky. So which variable goes with the 6.5% x, right? So first off, it's not giving us a nice equation here, right? It's asking me to come up with a more difficult equation that will help us to hopefully eventually get another equation like these first two. So let's read into that again. So it says this. It says the amount borrowed at the 6.5% rate was $50,000 less than the amounts borrowed at the other two rates combined. So what that's going to be is this. I'm going to write it out here to the side because you'll see why. So the amount borrowed at the 6.5% rate was $50,000 less. Okay, so then the other two rates combined. So let's think about this. So combined with the other two means that we're adding the other two loans together, and then to determine this loan, we then are subtracting $50,000 from it. Read it there, right? The less than tells me subtraction. The combined tells me addition between those two. And so that's what that equation is going to look like. But here's the deal. When we're writing out a system, we want all the variables to be on one side. Okay? And we want whatever it's equal to be by itself on the right side. So what I need to do here now for my next step is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move these all over. And so it's going to look like this. You're going to get x minus y minus z equals a negative 50,000. And so we'll put that down here. So we're going to have x minus y minus z equals a negative 50,000. So again, now we've got a system here. We need to solve to figure out how much each loan was. Okay? So let's go ahead again then. Write it always as a matrix equation first. Okay? Please get used to that. I'm going to ask you to write the matrix equation on the test as a matrix equation after you tell me what the system is. So we're going to get 1, 1, 1. Remember, it's taking all the coefficients here. 0.065, 0.07, 0.09, and then last but not least, our last row here, it's going to be 1, negative 1, negative 1. And then we're going to label our variables in a row again, so x, y, z equals our totals over here. So 350,000, $24,950, and then negative 50,000. Again, A, X, B here. Okay, 3 by 3 system. So how we're solving is we're going to get C equals A inverse times B. So I'm going to go ahead now. I'm going to plug that into the calculator here. I'm going to go a little bit faster this time because I just showed the last one to you there. So I do second math, go all the way over to edit. Again, I have a 3 by 3 here. That's why I'm using the calculator. It's impossible to solve. You could again do this by hand without changing it to a matrix equation. You're going to have to write it as a matrix equation and go back and do this one by hand, but that's probably going to be ugly values and stuff. So again, get the calculator. Okay, so let's go ahead, let's write this in. So we're going to have 1, 1, 1, 0.065, 0.07, 0.09, 1, -1, -1. Okay, and so there we go. So there's my A matrix. Okay, everything looks to be plugged in exactly correct, so we're in good shape. So we're going to second math now. Go all the way back over to edit, go down, we got to change B. Again, B is a 3 by 1, we have 3 rows, 1 column there. So hit enter 3 times, and now let's type that in. So we're going to 350,000. So make sure you don't mess up your zeros here, because you can. Okay. We're going to go 24,950. And then we're going to go negative 50,000. All right. So now that we have those in, we have our A and our B matrix. We got to go back to the home screen. Second math, we're not going to go anywhere. We're going to standard names. We're going to choose A. We're going to hit the exponent button, raise that to -1. Scroll over, multiply. Well, you don't have to hit the multiplication. You can if you want to. Go back, second math, choose B. Hit enter, enter. And there we go. So we get to figure out how much each loan was. Now, it's going to look weird up here, but look down here, it tells you. Okay, so the first loan, right? So let's just say, what are we? So we'll say X equals 150,000. So that's loan 1. Y equals 140,000. And then Z equals 60,000. And there you go. I forgot the money signs, but you guys get the point. All right. So yeah, a little bit longer today. Okay, the hard part's really understand this, but guys, I'm telling you right now, star this question. This is a great test question. Okay, great test question. Wouldn't be surprised if you have something like that on the test. So then you just got the back here. You've got 3 problems on the back, kind of just like what we did. Okay, so I'll have that key posted for you as well on Monday, so you can check it over as you're working it out. All right, guys are awesome, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.